Well, it's amping up. It's fun, but it's not that fast when you do that. Oh boy. Alright, time to drop the phone. I would say this is probably my favorite spot here when I can justify going up. It's just a quite calm day for where we are right now. So I just, I just lay down up here, got the autopilot going, got the sails going, got the solar panel for the autopilot. So we are fully sustainable. And on a good close reach. Right now, we're aboard Sharky, a 1978 O'Day 23. If you didn't see it back in episode 0, I had a clip of me after I first bought the boat. If you can't tell, the setup of my boat here is, well, not the best. Yeah, that's a Windex on the stanchion, a bolt rope mainsail with no reef points, Harbor Freight jib sheet, Hank-on jib, and hopefully by this time I had figured out how to plug the open through hull that was just an inch above the waterline.
Okay, Peter, I want you to take us back to your sailing journey when you were a little kid and it all first began.
I do remember one book as a kid that I would read under the covers at night when I was supposed to be sleeping, called What's Inside Boats. I found that incredibly fascinating, and any little boat that I saw, especially like the little trailerable ones, I was like so curious, like what type of little living quarters could you fit in a little boat like that? And then I really learned how to sail in Catalina Island summer camps, which was an awesome place. They had these like 13-foot sailboats there, and that's how I really learned how to sail. One of the first lessons that they taught, which really stuck with me, the sailing instructor was there teaching us how to sail. And then when we kind of knew how to sail, just barely a little bit, and then he literally jumped off into the water. And I think he said something like, "Okay, now come back and rescue me."
That's good.
And like that really like stunned me. I was like, "Oh, what the heck? Like I can't do this. Like I don't know." But I mean, I want to say that we rescued him.
Or maybe he drowned.
Yeah, I don't remember any instructors dying, which I'm sure I would have remembered that. So I'm going to say that I probably was able to rescue him. And then the next thing there was we had a little sailboat race, just around the buoys race. So I was, I don't know, anywhere from 10 to 12 years old. And then so the buoy was out here. We had, I think, 2 sailboats coming around. I want to say the wind was coming from this direction. So the buoy was here, I was here, the competitor was here, and I think they had to jibe, and I want to say they lost their main sheet, but also I was like, if you've ever competed, you're just like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I mean, that was where my mind was at, and I just knew that like the nose of the boat is pointy, right? So as long as I get the nose of my boat in between the nose of his boat and the buoy, I was going to have the inside line. But I think in reality, why I really was able to beat him out on that turn was because I think he jibed and I was tacking, and then their lines went like all over the place after.
So you're saying that you won?
And I won the sailboat race. And I retired from racing after that race. So I have a
long career,
clean sheet. not that long of a racing career, but 100% wins with one. Anyways, that's where I learned how to sail. And then, like, fast forward to sailing Sharky. Living in the Bay Area, you're super confined with your space. And so, not only do I play drums and I wanted to find a place for that, but also finding a sailboat. It either costs a lot of money at the marina or I wanted to get a trailerable boat. So, I got the trailerable boat. Actually, before I got the trailerable boat, I had to buy a pickup truck that could tow it because my old pickup truck was blowing up all the time. So I looked at one small boat. It was at the top of a mountain in the Sierra Nevadas near Coloma. It was a 23-foot boat also, but it had a pop top, really cool. And I just looked at my old truck and I looked at the boat and I'm like, if I tow this thing down the mountain, my truck's going to blow up. So I ended up moving to a place that had a driveway, and then I bought the pickup truck that could tow a boat, and literally the next day I went to look at Sharky, which was also up in the Sierra Nevada mountains. I bought her, and then I towed her down the next day.
So it wasn't just you found a boat, it was that you had to move and buy a truck and
I had to move. I had to rent a place. I told my roommates at that time, I'm like, okay, I just need the driveway because there will be a boat in the driveway. And luckily they're like, oh, okay, Pete, whatever, and yeah, so I rented out the house. And then when I towed the boat down, it was such a tight fit in that driveway that, I mean, besides the fact that it was late at night, I wimped out when I drove past my road. I didn't turn down my cul-de-sac road, and I literally drove it into some commercial parking lot nearby just because I was like, I literally don't know if I can fit this thing in the driveway. And if I mess up, then nobody will be able to get out of the road because it's a cul-de-sac. It's a dead end. But luckily I was able to park it. So that's kind of how Sharky started. And the thing is that Sharky is very, very small when it's on the bay or on the ocean, but it's very, very big on the road or in the driveway. So that was Sharky.
I could go on about the stories, like my first ever test sail of the boat, where my friend John and I didn't know how to use the gin pole to raise the mast. For sure, trailering the thing was pretty crazy. I mean, to launch it, you had to disconnect the boat from the truck at the water's edge on the boat ramp. And people would usually take videos of it, probably to upload to YouTube, because of how crazy it looked. Of course, I can't forget the time that I got stuck in the mud in the dark on my first solo sail. I had a lot of fun sailing Sharky around Tamales and the San Francisco Bay. But I'll fast forward to the biggest part of the dream. The one big thing I was missing. Now, I'm all about the solo sailing, but in my dreams, there's always been someone else in the picture. Someone special, and I hope, pretty cute.